And I'm here alongside Jimmy Corderas. TNA presents Slammiversary this Sunday night, 8 p.m. Eastern on pay-per-view, meaning you will have to pay to watch this on Sunday night, Jimmy.
Well, yeah, I think this is going to be a little bit challenging this week.
We know very little about this card that's coming up on Sunday. We know that MVP is supposed to be wrestling Eric Young in the main event. That is at least a question mark at this point. We've also got Bully Ray against XII, James Storm and Mr. Anderson, Austin Aries and Kenny King, and we're also going to see the Von Erich sons. Kevin Von Erich's kids also in action on this card. But this gives us an excuse, Jimmy, to also look at the state of TNA right now as they approach their 12-year anniversary with the burning question, will we see 13 out of them?
It's kind of like an iffy situation here, I think, with TNA right now. Over the years, you talk about the 12-year history of TNA, there has been zero growth, whether it's pay-per-views, whether it's ratings on television. They have not expanded their audience. You're going to get those core, I guess, roughly 1 million viewers tuning in every week, but they can't expand that audience, and that is not a good business model.
And how many of those million people that are watching Impact every week do you forecast will be buying Slammiversary?
Probably less than 1%.
That's a terrible conversion rate. And that just goes to the point right now that TNA right now, if we want to have an alternative company right now, TNA, I think you just have to look at this model right now. It's a broken one. It's a completely fractured model. They have not been able to support themselves by their live event business, by their pay-per-view business. They are completely on life support from a television contract right now. They are completely reliant on one network believing in them and giving them money to continue onwards. We have seen all of these stars leave the company, and I wouldn't even criticize the roster at this point. I think you have a very talented roster, but you cannot tell me that it's being utilized to any bit of its potential with the creative it's given and just the way this product is presented every Thursday night.
No, absolutely, and I don't think there's a quick fix here. Like, people are pointing to different ways you can fix the problem that they're having in TNA.
It's a culture to me. It's a complete cultural change that, to me, minimum 2 years that it would take to really change things for this company.
Yeah, basically you got to tear down the house and rebuild from scratch, and they got to stop this whole idea of bringing in, and it's no offense against guys like John Gabrick or anybody like that, but when you bring in people from WWE just because they were with WWE, that doesn't work. You got to find people who are going to think. You were talking about this before we went on the air. Thinking outside the box, thinking of something different. Start a television show like you said, maybe with a 25-minute match right out of the get-go, just to get away from that whole lengthy 15, 20-minute promo segment to start off a show. But when they do that, and they have that promo segment, you have a quick match for like 3-4 minutes, but then you've got another lengthy promo segment. People are not going to tune into that. Maybe a business model they could look at is very simplistic, kind of like what NXT does.
You know, it was interesting that when WCW launched Monday Nitro, that Eric Bischoff wrote down this long list watching WWF programming of every single thing they do, camera shots, way that they present characters, all of this stuff, and then decided, well, what can we do a bit different? And thus came the Cruiserweight division. Thus came different ideas. Hey, let's put a show together where it is all name talent. Right. Maybe that doesn't work in 2014. Maybe the idea of backstage segments, we limit it to a small fraction of the show so that therefore we have to be more decisive in where we use these non-wrestling segments. Maybe we are going to present these characters in a way where comedy is gone. Maybe it's just completely rethinking how professional wrestling is presented, because you've got the big juggernaut in the WWE that is presenting it this one way, and there's no way to crack that if you are a number two of just trying to compete with that, present something totally different.
Exactly, and trying to copy what the big boys do and the number one company doesn't work, especially when you're not doing it well.
TNA Slammiversary. It's coming up Sunday night, 8 p.m. Eastern on pay-per-view. Tune into The Law right after at 11 Eastern, liveaudiowrestling.com.